Welcome to the show. I have a great show planned for you this week. Later on, I'll have with me Phyllis Riccadonna, who is the account manager for the American Red Cross Alleghenies region. We'll be talking all about their upcoming blood drive and other things involving the American Red Cross. But first, we'll start with some of our usual features. And I want to start off by talking about something that's been getting a lot of attention here in the Wheeling area, and that is the apparent impending closure of the Ye Olde Alpha restaurant. And here's the reason I want to talk about this, is to say this, kind of just chill. Everybody needs to just chill a little bit on it. Here's the thing, okay? The Ye Olde Alpha, the building where it sits on Carmel Road in Wheeling, was auctioned a couple of months ago because apparently there were unpaid bills, etc. And so in order for those bills to be paid, the building was auctioned off. And one of the current owners went to that auction, had an opportunity to bid, but was outbid by another company that was looking to acquire that property, apparently, or thought that it was a good deal to acquire the property for that, and the current owners felt that that was not the best option for them. So that building was auctioned off and sold because apparently the Alpha couldn't keep up with its obligations and bills. And that happens sometimes, you know, things happen and you get behind, and so be it. But here's the thing, okay, so the current owners have indicated that the Ye Olde Alpha folks will have to vacate the premises when their lease ends on February the 8th, and that's within their right to do. I love the Alpha. I started going there when I was a young kid. I have so many memories there. Memories with my family, memory with friends. I mean, just some important events in life. But you know, private business owners are not required to keep things up. This is not a public building, but sometimes the community feels that way because it's become such a part of their lives, or the important events like they were mine in my life. But it couldn't make it, and that happens sometimes with private businesses, and maybe they'll open in a new location. There's some talk about that. But the current owners are not required to extend certain lease terms or to offer them to stay or anything like that, because that's what it is. It's a private business, and some of the same folks I hear talking all the time about, like, oh, people should let things be, let private business flourish, or let the government stay out of things. They're the same ones saying, hey, we should tell this private business should be here. So here's the thing, all right? Number one is that memories are in your head. Just because the restaurant may not be there in that location, or it may not exist at all, doesn't mean you won't still have those memories. They'll be in your head. They may even be in your photographs that you have, and those memories will stay alive in your head, and you'll make new memories at new places, and there'll be other things to talk about. Those things don't go away just because it's no longer there. There'll be new places to hang out, and what really makes things special are not so much the physical place that you are, it's the people that you're with, and the feelings that you have, and the emotions that are created by those experiences. And you'll just find somewhere else to have those experiences with the people that you love and care about, and you'll have memories at those places as well. So I know it's emotional for people when things close and things like that, but let's just all take a step back for a second and say, okay, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to maybe find a new place to hang out, a new place to make memories, a new place to find good food, and maybe some other business will be supported. Maybe some other location will be supported, or perhaps even maybe there'll be something new started in that same location that'll be even bigger and better than what it ever was. Hard to say, but just try to take it easy. And it's easy to sometimes throw stones on social media and other places, but keep it all good. Give you a quote this week as well. I thought this was appropriate for this time of year. This comes from Mary Lou Henner, who's an American actress. She's been in Grease, Taxi, some other shows as well. But she said, feeling a little blue in January is normal. And there is a lot of truth to that. Winter's tough as it is, but at least, in December, there's some excitement to look forward to with the holidays, especially if you have young children who are looking forward to Santa come in and all the things that go with the holidays. And then also, of course, the true reason for the season, which is thinking about the birth of Jesus. But then once that's over and you get to January and you're in the middle of the winter and things are drab, you do get a little bit blue, but it's also a good time to get things done, perhaps those inside things, make those goals that I talked about last week, those resolutions, and keep up on them, do some house cleaning, whatever it may be. But think about positive things, and again, don't feel like, oh, what's wrong with me? As Mary Lou Henner said, feeling a little blue in January is normal, so that will happen to all of us. Legal tip this week as well, and a lot of times people ask me, what is a contingency fee? They'll hear, hey, we handle our cases on a contingency fee basis from lawyers. My law firm does that. Other law firms do that. And they'll say, what is a contingency fee? What that means is that how much you pay that lawyer is contingent, or depends upon how much that lawyer recovers for you in the terms of the way of money. So, sometimes that could be, depending upon the contract, it could be a third, it could be 40%, it could be 50%, whatever it may be in the contract that you would sign with that lawyer. But the bottom line is this, that the lawyer only gets paid a percentage of what that lawyer collects for you. So if the lawyer gets you zero or doesn't win your case, he would get nothing or she would get nothing. If there is a recovery, then the lawyer would get paid a percentage of that. One of the reasons that I like the contingency fee basis is a lot of people that come to see me as a lawyer, I know, can't afford to pay a lawyer if they're paying an hourly fee or something like that. Some lawyers charge $300, $400, $500 an hour. Even in some of the bigger cities, it approaches $1,000 an hour. And people may say, well, look, I don't have that type of money to just shell out and hand over to a lawyer and pay them. And then what if I lose and I've got all that money in my pocket and I don't have that money to begin with? So on a contingency fee, you don't have to come up with money out of your own pocket. We don't require a retainer, so you don't have to come and put money down. Some lawyers do require that. Even if they're charging you a contingency fee, they at least require you to put something down for expenses or something like that. We don't do that. But that means you can go see the lawyer, sign a contract, and it's only positive for you. You only have to pay that lawyer something that's a percentage of what's collected for you, so there's nothing out of your pocket, so to speak, up front or while the case is going on. So that's a huge benefit to folks because, like I said, people that are living paycheck to paycheck, they can't just afford to pay someone hundreds of dollars an hour. So it's really a good system. The other thing it does is it gives the lawyer an incentive to do well for you. The better the lawyer does, the more money he collects for you, the more he gets paid. So there's really an incentive there for someone like me to say, I really want to do well for this person, not only because I want to do good, because I want to help them, but also I get paid more the better I do. So I like the system for that way as well. And I like to bet on myself. If I'm gonna gamble, I'd like to gamble on myself and think, okay, I'll take a shot here. I'm gonna only get paid if I do well for this person. The better I do for them, the more I get paid. I like gambling on myself. I think I'll do pretty well for that person, so I'll take that bet and see how I do. So anyway, that's a contingency fee in a nutshell. There's more to it than that a little bit, but that's just kind of a summary of what that may be. And of course, that's something good to know in case you unfortunately would have something happen where you need a lawyer. Hopefully you don't, but if you do, now you know a little bit more about it. We're going to take a break, but when I come back, I'll have with me Phyllis Riccadonna. We'll be talking all about the American Red Cross. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show.
Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. This is Gwen. How may I help you?
I'll tell you, I was getting ready to shave, and then the Mountaineer highlights came on, and I forgot all about the water. And then, boom, there's water coming through the ceiling. And I tell you what, I was going to shave, but now I'm swimming.
We'll send a crew immediately.
When disaster strikes the Wolfman, I call the restoration company that the Mountaineers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and you should too. Boom!
Recommended by the highest authorities. Danoon Lumber.
Looks like a bad one's coming. Yeah. Right?
Welcome back to the show. This is my favorite time each week when I have a guest with me, and this week's no different. I have with me Phyllis Riccadonna, who is the account manager for the American Red Cross, the Alleghenies region here. And Phyllis, it's great to have you here on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jamie.
The American Red Cross, people hear that name, but probably don't know all that goes into it. But we'll talk a little bit more about that as you're here on the show. But one of the things that's coming up that people may hear about is the blood drive, the Media Blood Donor Day, and actually was started here in this building at WTRF back many years ago.
34 years ago.
And of course has moved on, but I've heard stories about that, how many people came, and it was kind of just all these people coming into the building here.
Yeah, it started 34 years ago here, and then we thought we'd probably get about 20 units of blood. And what ended up is people came, and there wasn't enough room for them, and they had to line them up around the building, and it was such a success. Through the years, they tried to find different venues that would hold the blood drive, and through the years, it really, really did grow large. But because of our area and the aging out population of our area. The blood drive itself has declined probably in the past 5-6 years, and that's what we're seeing. So we are hoping this year to build it up a little bit.
Well, this year's drive will be held on Monday, January 27th at the Wheeling Island Casino Racetrack from 11 to 5:30. And you know, my law firm's been a sponsor of this blood drive for a number of years now, and I just want to mention to you know, we were very touched that you all decided to hold the drive this year in memory of my dad. You know, we were very not only honored, but I said touched by that. And I know he would be too. He during the last 18 months of his life, he had leukemia, as you know, and needed a number of blood transfusions, platelet transfusions when he was in the hospital. And we actually saw firsthand, there were times where the blood was so low, like they weren't sure if they were able to get it for him when he needed it, and thankfully they were. But this is in one of the biggest hospitals in the country down in Houston, and so really a need there that can save someone's life.
Well, actually, 38% of our population is eligible to give blood, but only approximately 3% does. And I realize that people don't like needles. Who does?
Right.
But to actually be able to give a pint of blood to save the lives of 3 people, if they could just keep that in mind when they're thinking about maybe I can step up and give blood this time. So, but I wanted to get back to your father. He had been our largest sponsor for the past several years for our High Valley Media Day. And I know people here in the area know what a man of faith he was, what a community contributor to almost everything that we can imagine here in the Valley, and how he stepped up to help save lives just because he was the kind of man that he was. We are so honored to be able to dedicate this drive to the memory of your father.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that, and that means a lot to me and my firm and to my family as well, so thank you so much for that. You know, you mentioned that 38% of people were eligible to give. You know, people may wonder, well, I have this medical condition or this medical condition, does that make me eligible? How do they know?
Mostly anybody can give blood. The only exceptions really maybe a person who's on a blood thinner. That only makes sense.
Yeah.
People think if they have high blood pressure, if they're diabetic, that they can't give blood, and that's not true. The day of the blood drive, if you come and your vitals are all good, you can give blood. There are some medical conditions, very rare though, medical conditions that would prevent them from giving blood. So.
Now you mentioned if their vitals are good. Do you actually take the vitals there before they give to make sure they're okay?
Yes. When a person comes to any blood drive and registers, they go through a medical history check, which is really nice because it's like a medical checkup. And we have a new system, it's called Rapid Pass. Before you get to the blood drive, on that day, 3 a.m. on, you can do your own medical history. And you can answer all the questions. So when you get there to the blood drive, it'll save approximately 10 minutes.
How long does it take overall once you get there? I mean, I know it can depend probably on how many people are there at a given time, but
Exactly.
Approximately how long does it take?
It will take you no time to register. It'll take you, if you don't have Rapid Pass, this medical checkup's going to take a good 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. You would sit with our staff and they would ask you questions medically and you just answer them. Then you are on a bed. According to how your blood flows is how long you're going to be on that bed, approximately 10 to 15 minutes. And then we require you to go into our canteen that we provide, like water, orange juice, cranberry juice, snacks. And we would like you to stay there about 10, 15 minutes. So the whole process can take about 45 minutes. But the rapid pass is key to saving some time.
Yeah, that saves you a little bit of time there for sure if you can do that. We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue talking about not only this blood drive, but others, and also other things that the American Red Cross does to help people. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show.
Tractor trailers are some of the most dangerous vehicles on the road. There are federal rules for load sizes, driver's hours, and maintenance for a reason. When big rigs don't follow these rules, entire families can be torn apart. We have the talent and the resources to take on these large companies. Hopefully, through our work, families are being helped and trucking companies are getting the message about safety. Bordas and Bordas, fighting for justice.
Hi, Banks did great today. He looks great after his spa day.
For being such a good boy, we'll take these two.
Great.
Thanks to my free Casasa cashback checking account from Belmont Savings Bank, my Casasa cash is paying for my dog's treats.
Casasa pays you cash back on everyday debit card purchases, plus refunds on ATM withdrawal fees nationwide. Open your account today at Belmont Savings Bank to take back banking and enjoy monthly cash rewards with Casasa.
Welcome back to the show. I've been speaking with my guest this week, Phyllis Riccadonna with the American Red Cross, and we've been talking about the blood drive coming up on January 27th at Wheeling Island Casino, but that's not the only blood drive that's held by the American Red Cross throughout the year here in the Valley. There's others as well, of course.
Yes, we have approximately, my area covers the counties all the way from the tip of West Virginia and Ohio down to like Marietta. So on both sides of the river, we have blood drives going on every day.
That's a big territory you have to cover
yes, it
there.
is.
Can people host blood drives? I mean, and if so, how do they go about doing that?
Well, I mean, please welcome people to call me if they're interested in hosting a blood drive. If they have a facility that the room would be big enough, approximately 1,000 square feet to hold the blood drive. If they have employees that want to donate and they're willing to do that, they can call me at 304-989-9929.
Okay, that's good to know. Let's talk about other things that the American Red Cross does besides blood drives. And people may not realize the full scope of the services that you provide. To tell our viewers a little bit about that.
Well, my job is in the biomed section of the Red Cross, of course, with the blood drives. On the other side is our chapter services, which probably most people are aware of. Sounding the alarm. We have an alarm event coming up in March where we will install smoke alarms in homes, and people will have information how to get a hold of us in the future here. If they don't have any alarms, we have volunteers that cover the whole area and actually install the alarms, show people how to work them, give them tips about fire. We respond to all disasters everywhere in the world. And I think people know that anytime there is a tragedy in the news, the Red Cross is right there.
Oh, yeah, you hear it, whether it be, if it's a hurricane or whatever it may be, a flood.
It's just out go the volunteers, and they're right there. They're usually the first ones to respond.
You've been with the Red Cross for a number of years now, I know. How long has it been?
7 years.
Yeah. And in the 7 years, you mentioned earlier that you've seen some decrease in people giving to the blood drive, the population's getting older, things like
Yes.
that. What can people do in terms of helping to spread the word, so to speak, about why it's important to give blood and what they can do to help, even if it's not giving blood that particular day?
Well, they can begin to realize that maybe today they don't need blood, but maybe their loved one will. The unexpected tragedy of an automobile accident, the premature babies, cancer patients. Right now, at this time, we are in critical need. What that means, the hospitals only have a 3-day supply of blood right now. Usually winter months, this is what we go through. A lot of people are taking off for the holiday, coming back, they're busy, winter, inclement weather. And so we see a decrease in our blood donations, and this is a very critical time because we also see an increase in automobile accidents during the bad weather. What we also recognize is that our youth, our young people, are not stepping up to give blood. This is why we go into high schools and colleges during the season, September to May. We can collect blood from the youth. After that, and after college, like maybe from 25 to 45, we're not seeing people stepping up to give blood in that age group.
You mentioned age, and that is a question I wanted to ask you about. With this drive at the casino on the 27th, what age of people were eligible in terms of how young and how old?
17 years and older can give blood without parental consent. 16-year-olds can give blood with their parents' consent. So everybody can give blood. It's just a matter of if you have never given blood before, it's really a little pinch in the arm, just as if you were going to the doctor and they were taking your blood. And the little tube goes into a bag and you lay down on a bed, we collect it, and off it goes to our labs for screening.
And then does it stay here in the valley, or could it go anywhere? People may wonder that too.
No matter who the blood bank is, who's collecting blood, you can't say for sure that our blood is going to stay right here. It all depends where the need is in our region. Mm-hmm. And with our blood donor app, you can actually follow where your blood is going.
Is that right?
Yes.
That's interesting.
The blood donor app is very useful too because you can get your blood donation card there. It is a record of your blood donations. It is a very good tool to use for anything that you need to follow about the Red Cross.
I presume too, if people don't know what their blood type is, this would be a good way to find out too?
It is a very good way to find out. Once you give blood, we have a record of your blood type. So that is where the record is, right in your blood donor app.
Well, Phyllis, I really appreciate you being here on the show. Thanks for all the good work you do with the American Red Cross and trying to help so many people. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jamie. Thanks for keeping the tradition.
Sure thing. We need to take a break. When we come back, I'll be talking sports. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show. People in nursing homes are some of the most vulnerable members of our society. They're there because they can't take care of themselves. Those facilities have a duty to take care of our loved ones, and when they don't, it's important they're held accountable. We've not only collected record results against negligent nursing homes, but more importantly, we've helped so many families get the answers and closure they so badly needed.
Bordas and Bordas, fighting for justice.
When reviewing your oil and gas offers or royalty check statements, do you wonder, am I being offered a fair amount? Do I feel comfortable reading the statement? Do I have peace of mind? If you answered no to these questions, you need Bordas Mineral Management. Our passion is helping mineral owners protect and expand their mineral wealth. Our examiners tell you whether you're being treated fairly and getting paid what is rightfully yours. Bordas Mineral Management. Be protected. Have peace of mind.
Welcome back to the show. It's time to talk sports, and I want to start with the College Football Playoff National Championship because I like to follow college football so much here on the show and talk about it a good bit during the course of the year. This is the big game. It'll be next Monday, January 13th, and of course in New Orleans, Louisiana, and we'll have the home state team, LSU, taking on Clemson. And you look at LSU during the course of this year, and Joe Burrow's been so good at quarterback. Runaway Heisman Trophy winner, Justin Jefferson, unbelievable wide receiver, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, great running back. And they really have transformed their offense from being the old-style pounded LSU teams and I used to even kind of laugh because they would, even on handoffs, pitch the ball sometimes, then run it off tackle, which you didn't see from other teams. But now it's a much more wide open offense. I mean, they've been unbelievable. And their defense, though maybe not quite what it's been in the past. They've given up, almost three touchdowns a game, but they've played such a tough schedule. I mean, look at that SEC schedule. They've faced Alabama and Georgia and Florida and all these tough teams, Auburn. So, of course, having to also beat Oklahoma in the playoff, really, good reason they're the favorite. But then you look at Clemson on the other side. They still just have that stingy defense that they typically have under Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator that's been there for a number of years. They're giving up somewhere around 10 points a game. Isaiah Simmons is just a really fun player to watch on defense. If you don't really tune into defense much, watch for Isaiah Simmons. I mean, they line him up all over the place. He'll line up at safety, he'll line up at linebacker, line up on the edge on the defensive line, and it really makes things happen. Had a great interception in the playoff win over Ohio State. But they can also score 45 points a game, which is what they're doing, and they're used to being there. I mean, Clemson has been in this playoff a number of times now, and it's tough to just go into the playoffs and win. I mean, I think when you look at it, teams usually they get there and then maybe they scratch the surface a little bit, and then finally they get over the hump. And you look at Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback for Clemson. He's never lost a game in college. He's undefeated still. He last lost in high school, and we're talking 2 full college seasons now. T. Higgins and Justin Ross are really tough at a wide receiver, and Clemson showed their fight and their willingness to come back in that win over Ohio State. In breaking this game down, I mean, I think the offensive edge has to go to LSU a little bit just because of the type of season that Joe Burrow's had with that high-powered offense. I think the defense goes to Clemson. Coaching edge, I think, has to go to Clemson a little bit. I mean, those guys have been in that playoff game. I mean, Dabo Swinney's shown he can do it. Brent Venables calling that defense. First time there for Ed Orgeron, first time there for his coordinators. So I look at all those things together. I know this isn't necessarily the prevailing thought, but I'm going to go with Clemson in a close one. I think Clemson gets it done. So really excited to see what happens there. NFL playoffs this weekend. Some upsets last weekend. Of course, the Patriots out of it now. Interesting to see. So this Saturday, Minnesota at San Francisco 49ers. I like San Francisco in this one. They're 4th in the league in total offense, 2nd in total defense. I think they win it. Then the Titans, who knocked off the Patriots at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are just too good. I mean, Lamar Jackson's going to win the MVP. Tennessee's coming off that emotional win. I think Baltimore wins that one. Then on Sunday, Houston at Kansas City. I just think Patrick Mahomes is the X factor at quarterback. I mean, he's just what the modern quarterback is. Can move around, he can throw the ball, he can run. Kansas City's at home, I like them. And then I'm going to go with the upset in the last one at 6:40 on Sunday night. Seattle at Green Bay. I'm going to go with Seattle. I think they pull off the upset to set up a great NFC West showdown for the conference championship with the 49ers. So I'm going to go with Seattle over Green Bay, even though it's supposed to be in the low 20s in Green Bay that day. That's all the time we have this week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Jamie Bordas Show.